What's up, guys? Welcome back to Talk Out Shigarami TV. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the noti bell, all that good jazz. Today's video is going to be focused on something that has been brewing in my mind since I started playing at this particular field, which is very polarizing for those of you who do know about it. And we're going to focus on problem solving and dilemmas in airsoft, things that are always going to be prevalent in terms of where we play, how we play, and what takes place. And this is going to be one of those videos where the goal ultimately is to create some form of discourse. So for those of you guys that have any thoughts, feel free to comment them in the comment section. I really want to know what you guys think about some of the things we're going to touch on here. So one of the major concepts, right, and concerns when we talk about, playing in these fields that are like multi-level, multi-dimensional, multifaceted, all these different rooms and corridors and angles, is how do we deal with the issue of addressing, where we're getting contact from, how do we adapt, and how can we assert ourselves in those kind of situations after we adapt. Playing at this particular field, when we talk about feeling a peach, right? And one of the things that kind of makes it a very different field from most of the ones that a lot of people are used to. Some people will say that it's more of an outdoor field. Some people say it's indoor. Some people say it's a combination of both. And essentially, how that does affect the game experience, it really does depends. I mean, you have times where you go in. Obviously, when we played at Black Fox, it was a very different experience. It was probably a combination of both, as you guys saw. We got pinned down behind cover. We got pinned down behind cars. There were engagements inside of the buildings and also engagements outside. Where, a lot of the times, how do you differentiate from both, essentially? But it also depends on how you're engaging as well, right? And that in turn is going to affect your experience. Now, primarily for me, when I first started playing airsoft in Japan, I was an indoor airsoft player, you can say that. Prior to playing at this field, I had no experience outdoor. Everything that I've ever done was always indoors, and I can definitely tell you that it is vastly different. Almost, I would even say it's a different sport, pretty much. I wouldn't even say almost, but definitely a different sport. How is it different, right? When you talk about the factors that affect your effectiveness in terms of fighting in and out of buildings, windage, pretty much distance, hop. These are things that I've never taken into consideration, especially with the type of, weapons that I use. And that in turn does affect pretty much what's feasible and what's not. In some cases with this particular map, you can get away with a lot depending on weather. So, if it's warm, obviously you can do a little bit more with gas blowback weapons in terms of pressure, or even the smaller electric guns. So these are the things that kind of affect how you go about moving forward when you put together loadouts and kits, and when you decide on what you want to use, and also the tactics as well. And then also there's layout knowledge as well. So the first time, usually when you go to a field and you play there, the majority of the time that you're going to be playing, you're going to encounter a lot of difficulties and adversities, right? But a lot of that can be contributed to trying to understand what the map is in the layout and where you need to go, where do you need to pressure from, or press forward, where you're going to be getting opposition from, what are the difficulties, and then you log that information in. Sometimes it takes a couple of rounds, and other times, depending on the level and what you're playing with, because as good as we are, everybody has difficulties, so it doesn't really matter. that is always going to be, I think, a factor that's indiscriminate. It doesn't matter how skilled we think we are in this thing that we're doing here. So those are very important factors that you have to deal with, right? Now, for me in particular, not only in this particular game, but in every single game that I've played so far since I've been in Kansai, a lot of it has revolved around adaptation, and it has definitely changed the way that I look at kit and the way I look at what's feasible for different types of environments and different types of situations. Before, what I always did was I just always went with, what I want or what I think is going to be effective. And based on what my experience has been, a lot of people say indoor CQB is a little bit more difficult and more cutthroat, and it is because if you don't put in the time in terms of practicing, and if you're not sharp, you do spend a lot of time in safety. However, if you ask me, as of right now, I think the same thing can also be reversed as well. As I recently saw in a game, a lot of guys who play indoor a lot and they're really effective indoor. Some skills don't directly translate to the outdoor experience, if that makes sense. So there were some instances where there was some initial struggle, and when you have to adapt in those situations, it's a little bit more difficult when you have to do it under pressure, and that changes a lot of different things. So definitely, it's very understandable, but also I think it's necessary in order to develop if you want to have longevity in the sport. So what I'm looking forward to ultimately, as you guys more than likely, if you heard from what I said in my last video, going out to Kanto and experiencing some new fields, seeing what's out there, seeing different styles, different players, different rules, and different game modes. Overall, being engaged in a whole different experience, and what that's going to mean in the future in terms of Sabage as a whole. I do think that I will be involved in the sport for quite some time, and as it does continue to grow, and as you're seeing now, you're getting more hobbyists, more players, more YouTubers, more people involved, regardless of age or gender or whatever that you want to talk about. It's way more of an open spectrum now. So that, in a sense, you can attribute that to just the game experience being way more positive, and then being in Japan, way more inclusive as well, due to all what I would say the necessary restrictions that do keep it in that positive realm that it should be for a game that we want to maintain as something that is inclusive. So that's very important for us, and it's also very positive, and there's so much that we can take from that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for your support and for your patronage. We will continue to grow this platform as well. There are a couple of videos that I'm supposed to release and focus on. I did promise you guys the Hollison one. There are a couple that I need to finish. I've been busy, obviously, taking care of what I said I was going to. As you guys should know by now, I will be relocating to Kanto, Tokyo. So for those of you guys, who really watch me and who want to, I guess, get together or play or, make content or whatever, yeah, man, shoot your comments, contact me. Let me know what's going on. Let's do something. And in reference to all of the recent content, guys, go check out Death Row's podcast if you haven't. Go and subscribe to Death Row Airsoft on YouTube, and go and watch and subscribe to his podcast on Spotify and all other major streaming platforms. It is growing, and we are getting, the numbers are going up. So that's really, really cool. And I'm really happy with the development that we're seeing so far, because of all these platforms that are now opening up. And you're going to see more and more people involved in the sport as it does continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. You're seeing better products, better players, and overall really good atmosphere. So I'm really happy to be, sort of in the, you could say, the mecca of, the way how things are going to change in the future, and just overall how good the environment's going to be looking like. And within the next, I think, few years of hard pushing, you're going to see more changes. Kind of reminds me of jiu-jitsu a lot in a lot of ways. So we're very very happy about that. Or at least I am, for sure. In reference to gameplays, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet. I do have some more stuff that I have to release for you guys that I have to chop up and edit, including the recent game with the Air Force as well, and the Hexera guys, which for now will be the very last Peach game. I don't know if and when I'm going to be coming back, but that will be the last one for now. So far, I don't have anything planned, anything major in the foreseeable future, but once we kind of get settled, we'll see what the scape looks like out there. And hopefully you guys that are out there, you can feel free to reach out, let me know what's up, and I'm open to seeing what's going on over there. It's definitely going to be something new for me. Aichi was definitely different. Kansai was definitely different, while I was here, and what I was able to experience, when I had time, was definitely mixed. But as we touched on in the podcast, Airsoft is different in Japan in different regions. It's almost an entirely different sport, depending on what field you go to and what the rules are, and whether it's indoor, outdoor, blah, blah, blah. It's always different. So we have all these different rules. For example, some indoor fields here allow lasers and whatnot. Most don't. Some offer different type of weapon usages and allowances, and others restrictions. So you have to be careful. Never assume anything, and always consult the staff and know what the rules are before you play. It's very important. You always want to know what the rules are. And yes, these are all important concepts. So once again, guys, feel free to comment. It's open forum. Let me know what you guys think. And for those of you who have, been supporting the channel, thank you so much once again. Be patient. More content is coming, and as we get better organized and definitely more sophisticated in 2023, we'll be looking at some good releases and some good stuff. Well, I'm very appreciative for all of you that have supported the channel, and for those of you that continue to just be who you are, man. It's very much appreciated, and I couldn't be happier for everything. So once again, thank you so much. This is Takashi Rami TV. Take care.